What's up, YouTube? Mike here from our Custom Shop, and this is going to be part 2 of the loaded Miata build. Tonight, we are going to be doing a little bit more of a tune-up. We ran a compression test last week on the engine to see what kind of numbers each cylinder was running, because the car is going to be boosted eventually, and by eventually I mean pretty soon. So one of the cylinders had low compression, and a wet compression test didn't fix the issue, so we figure there might be some carbon buildup on the valve, so we're going to seafoam the bitch, and we're going to redo the compression test and see if anything's changed. If not, she's still getting a snail anyway, so we'll see what happens. So here we go. Coming back at us. Cut it off. I wanted to let it drop in idle. Ooh, wow, that was almost really bad. I couldn't really tell how much of a smoke show was doing. It seemed like a lot. The garage is kind of cloudy.
Alright, so now, according to the internet, we're supposed to wait, do stay anywhere from a half hour to an hour, and let it sit for a little while, and then we'll start up and let it run, then we'll do a compression test, and we'll see if it's any different.
Okay, so right now we're compression testing cylinder number 3, which was the cylinder that when we did the last compression test before the Seafoam, it was at 120-ish psi, which is below spec. Minimum spec is 128 psi, so it's not looking good. It's pretty low compression. Plus, it was below spec on the it was below spec in terms of difference between cylinders. The maximum difference between cylinders, what is it, like 20 psi, 25 psi?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's 25 psi, and it was obviously below spec on that too, so cylinder number 3 was a problem, but seafoaming, we'll see if that fixed the issue. So I'm going to go crank it over. I'm going to do the test 2 times, one with the throttle open and one without. When we did this test the first time, we didn't have the throttle held open. So we'll see what happens. This one is with the throttle closed. What we got?
We're looking at right at 150 on the mark.
Nice. Okay.
So
we did this test off camera with the throttle held open, and it scored 150 again. So yeah. Word of advice from Miata owners. If you do a compression test on a 1.8, even a 1.6 is probably similar because they're both port fuel injected, not direct injected, but either way. If you have low compression on a cylinder and you do a wet compression test to see if you have worn piston rings and the wet compression test doesn't change the results, seafoam the engine, because you could have some carbon buildup on the valves. Like this Richards Miata, that seems to be the issue, because after seafoaming it, that cylinder is perfect. I'm just going to do this one with the throttle closed too, because cylinder 3 didn't change with the throttle held open or closed.
let's give this one a shot. The hell is that click?
I don't know. Not important.
But holy shit!
Okay, so maybe cylinder 3 is
Still
still a bit of a problem.
But Seafoam was able to raise compression quite a bit.
Yeah, but it did it on all 4 cylinders.
Yeah, we just kind of needed it only on cylinder 3, but if you do have low compression on your engine, be sure to try Seafoam. This is the answer right here. This really does work.
Cylinder 3 is still below spec
Yes,
in terms of
it's
the maximum difference between cylinders. Because it was at 150, and cylinder 1 is at 170.
No, it's a little below that. It's actually like 160 something, 168. So it actually is okay. It's just at spec. It's still not good.
It's at like 170.
And 150 to 170 is 20 psi. I mean, it's not good, but at least it's better than what it was. It was like 30 psi difference.
Only other thing I could come up with, if it isn't carbon buildup, it's definitely not piston ring. So if it's not carbon buildup, it could be a potential head gasket issue. But
Head gasket or valve stem or something like valve stem seal, maybe.
nah.
No.
Like I said, if it was valve related, I mean, if it's not valve related, then it's probably a head gasket issue. But she's gonna get a snail anyway. Especially, well, I mean, the compression's good now. It's good enough to where.
And this is the turbo we got going in this, right? This is a TD04 from a Bug Eye WRX. I think it's a 04 WRX, 03, somewhere in that range. But yeah, it's a nice little TD04. I'm having Dan, I can't remember his last name, but Dan, who made the manifolds for Ricer Miata and all their turbo Miatas. He's making my manifold, and actually I'm going to go pick it up tomorrow. And we'll go check that out. And I ordered a downpipe, and a whole bunch of other bits are coming soon. The only last thing I have to order is intercooler kit and Mega Squirt.
Some fuel bits.
Yeah, but for now I'm almost set for low boost.
And water and oil lines.
Yeah. She's up.
Cylinder 2 at 170.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's the exact same. And that one is the highest of the group. It's out. Yeah, I know. It's just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Still.
Cylinders 1, 2, and 4 are all, well, they're all within spec, but cylinder 3 is still
Low.
Yeah, it's lower than it should be, but it's within spec in terms of difference between cylinders.
And it's a lot better than it was, so.
40 psi after doing Seafoam.
Yeah.
So,
And I've been driving a little harder. I'm sure that has helped a little bit
do
with
you have
carb
premium
buildup.
in the car right now?
Yeah, I've been running premium because I do have plans, so might as well.
And Derek took the oil. Oh, damn! I want to get it on like 30 psi. Let's see what happens when we take the oil cap off.
But yeah, so
Just hold it up.
anyone looking to raise their compression on any engine, if you have low compression, it's worth giving Seafoam a shot. Run it through the intake, do vacuum lines.
It's only going to work if it's not a piston ring.
Yeah, if
If
it's
do a wet compression test and the results are the same, then you try Seafoam.
yeah, but if you have somewhat low compression across the board, it's worth giving it a shot just to see if that will work. And if it does work, then you save yourself some headache. So, like I said, we got a 20 to 30 psi difference across the range with this, so definitely give it a shot. And we'll be back with more. We'll be back with more soon on the rest of this build, and when we finally put this snail into the MX-5. So, stay tuned for more.
I dare you play your cards, boy, you bet I'm a trendsetter too. Fire when the strobe hits you.
That's it, Brian?